So when you say what is the game? What is reality? Reality with a capital R is that love and beauty and life, they exist everywhere. But we must be the vibrational condition for it to reveal itself through us. Or if not, we get caught up in small r reality, which
Mm.
is simply the experience of our beliefs. We
Yeah.
experience our beliefs, whether they be true or not.
Mm.
You know, I used to do a practical joke years ago when I was in college, and we would go up to one of our fellow students, and we'd light the match, blow it out, and then quickly touch the person with a cold match. They're thinking we're touching them with a hot match, and suddenly they form a blister, a heat blister on their hand, and they get upset a little bit. We said, "No, we touched you with a cold match. Follow me." Then we go to the next person, light a match, blow it out, touch them with a cold match. They get a blister more often than not. So they were having an experience of their belief. They weren't having an experience of that which was reality, cold match. They were experiencing their belief. So humanity is experiencing a belief in separation, not enoughness, lack, limitation. They're experiencing that. They're experiencing a reality that's not real. It's why we call it the world of appearances, because things that appear to be real are simply thought forms that we're experiencing.
What is the role of the illusions that we experience, the anything other than love and connection and God frequency, energy, God consciousness, Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it? What's the role of it?
Well, it gives us feedback as to what we are attached to in our consciousness. Now, let me break that down. Let's take the word problem as an example. Like people have a problem. Now, the word problem comes from the word emblem. So a problem is emblematic of what's in our awareness.
Okay.
So if we're attached to a particular thought form, a perception, a belief, an interpretation of a past experience, then that becomes emblematic as an issue in our life. So it gives us feedback. We're getting feedback as to what is in our awareness. So if we keep repeating something over and over and over again, there is a belief
Mm-hmm.
that probably has an emotion attached to it. It probably has the vanity of the ego saying mine. In other words, that's my opinion, that's my thought, that's my belief, which creates a attachment. Then all of that shows up as experience. But it's feedback. We're getting feedback all the time. So that small reality is you say, what's its role? It's giving us feedback. We're actually having a direct experience of our belief, even if the belief is unconscious.
How do we grow from seeing ourselves through someone else? And then what are the ways that we can turn internally, and what are the sort of like modalities or techniques that we can use to grow and learn about ourselves by looking inward?
So when we are what you're describing, projecting parts of ourselves onto someone else, we have to take responsibility and own that. So total responsibility is one of the first ways of growing. And then you have to say, okay, what is this that I am projecting? Is it a lack of self-love and appreciation? Is it lack of spiritual self-esteem? What is it that I'm placing onto this other being? So when I take responsibility for it, now I can become still and I can allow to float up the actual belief or thought that's generating that projection. Now, that belief or thought is a lie. It's not the truth. It's a lie. Anything that's less than God, less than intelligence and the beauty and life, it's a lie, because we're spiritual beings emerging from the eternal. So anything unlike that is a lie that we're telling ourselves.
How do we discern then? Like, how do we know what's a lie versus like, is it just if anything is not positive, or is it if
anything is not life affirming is a lie?
it's
Once
not
we hear
life
that,
affirming?
when we hear that thought, it's not life affirming, then it's not the truth.
Okay.
It might be an experience we're having, but it's not the truth of our being. A lie believed acts as a law until neutralized. Any lie that we have that's running us, it will become our personal law. We can change states, we can change relationships, we can change jobs, but that lie will run us and it will act as our personal law until we neutralize it. Look within, we see the lie, we dismantle it through prayer, through meditation, through forgiveness, until it's no longer operating within us. Now we become free and we see life differently. We see people differently. There's less judgmentalism, you know, there's less projection. But it doesn't. It takes a degree of radical sincerity and inner work, real sincere wanting to wake up and not just because once you have a projection, you put it on the world. The ego then says it fights to say I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm right about this. And that's one of the ways that we slow ourselves down because we embrace I'm right. They're
And you
wrong.
look for it. And then you look for it, right? If you have an idea that, guys always cheat on me, then you go and look for it, right? Or if you have an idea that the world treats me terribly, you actually go out. And I'm like speaking from experience. You go out into your life and you actually look to justify that belief.
And
you'll find it.
And you're also helping to create a condition for that to show up.
Right. Explain that more, because that's the tricky one.
Yeah. So we live in a field of infinite potential, infinite possibilities. But the possibilities can only come into manifestation if the condition is right. You can have a seed. The seed has the potential to be whatever, olive tree, apple tree, but it's not going to do that unless the condition is right. It has to be planted, has to have the proper soil, sunshine, water. When the condition is right, it shows up. So that's true about anything. If you're holding a seed thought, whether the seed thought is affirmative or whether the seed thought is not affirmative, if you create the condition, that thought will emerge. So if you're looking for, the world's a bad place. What you're looking for, you're looking with. You're looking with that dynamic. So you're also helping to create the condition for that. We're vibrational beings. So we're vibing at the condition of what we are afraid of, what we cherish, what we love. The bad news is that oftentimes what we are afraid of has more emotional impact. The universal law says you don't get what you want, you get what you're interested in. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking around for negativity, then you're setting up the condition to have that experience. If you're looking around for that which is affirmative and life-giving, then you're beginning to trend in that direction. It's all lawful. None of it's personal. If you fall off a building and you hit the ground and go splat, break your arm or something, it's not personal. Gravity's not personal, to you. Oh, I'm going to get her. So we learn to own our projections, begin to have an awareness that we're actually surrounded. Einstein once said, the question we have to ask is the universe friendly? He figured that it was the universe was friendly. It was not working against us. I like to use the word progressive. If the universe is progressive, it's not working against us. So we have to be in alignment with it. And then wonderful things occur because we're in alignment, not because we're good people, and we're better than anyone. But we're in alignment.
My friend, my dear friend Nada, she gave me this little mantra to say when things are a little awry. And she goes, I just stop and I ask the universe, how can it get any better? How can it get any better?
I used to do talks on it all the time. That's the question you ask.
How can it get any better?
How can this get better? And you do that even if things are really good.
It's true. You're totally right. You're exactly right. And it's amazing. I mean, you notice it the most when there's the most contrast.
Right.
But it's like you just can't believe that the universe lined up something so magically that you're like, you can do nothing but believe in the power of saying those words and
How
feeling
can it get
that.
better than this?
Gonna get better than this.
Yes.
And then the universe
And the
goes,
universe will show you.
show you.
I'm infinite. Look at this.
I have
Just getting started.
every potentiality
Yeah.
available is right here.
Well, in the manifest world, there obviously there are serendipities and coincidences that occur that you did not plan, that just show up, opportunities that pop up, that show up. You meet the right person at the right time. You realize, oh, something's happening here, and then then you start to have an awareness that you have less and less anxiety and anxiousness and a greater sense of peace. And a greater sense of peace is not tied in to an external event. It's like sometimes, why am I so happy? And why do I have so much peace? Because nothing seems to have changed in the external world, but I'm feeling a greater sense of happiness and joy and peace. That means you're coming more in harmony with your intrinsic nature. It has nothing to do with the external world. And now, as I said earlier, conditions will start to shape shift in order to give birth, so you can give birth to your highest desire, your soul desire, your heart's desire.
If you like this clip and you want to hear the whole episode, click at the bottom of your screen.